Family members aren't allowed to visit residents at senior living facilities in order to keep them safe from COVID-19. But today, the residents at the Waterford at Bridlebrook Senior Living in Mahomet got a treat from family members and the community. WCIA 3 photojournalist Anthony Fisher takes us there.
It was great. All we did was made flyers and went around, and all the businesses were more than willing to jump on board and be a part of it.
It was so touching.
It was very emotional. Had me crying some because it was so wonderful to see my friends that cared enough to do this. We all feel pretty important right now, you know, that they cared enough to go to all this to celebrate us today.
It's difficult for our residents and for family members, especially when they're used to seeing mom or dad every day.
It just felt wonderful just to be out for a while and then to sort of mingle even though we can't get close to each other. It was just an awesome feeling of after 6 or 8 weeks, whatever it's been, to be able to sit outside and enjoy the fresh air and just to see people.
We can't have any visitors in our community, and the families and residents are really missing each other.
It means a lot to me. I think the residents seem to really enjoy it, and you know, because they're in here, even though we're supposed to be like at stay at home, we're still allowed to go to the store or can go to a drive or something like that, but they literally see each other day in and day out, and so I think it was probably really special to them and to me that they got to get out and see other people in the community and family.
This will be a time that everyone's going to remember for, you know, the rest of their lives, and just something, you know, small as this is, and they can't see their family, I think it's going to go a long way.
Residents say they were happy to see family and friends and expressed their gratitude to the organization.
Microchips are handy to have in case your dog or cat gets loose. If someone finds them, that chip helps your animal get back home to you. But the chips don't cover everything. Curtis Orchard in Champaign isn't just home to a plethora of fall goodies. It's also the temporary home to a number of loving kittens.
We socialize them with people and we work really hard with them, which is one of the reasons why they're so nice when you come out here and you meet with them.
They started the season with 7 kittens, raising and caring for them until they were ready to find a forever home. But when it came time to adopting them out, it was down to 3.
This year has just gotten a lot worse with people taking our cats. One of the cats disappeared on a busy weekend, and her brother just sat in her favorite spot for 3 days, not moving, waiting for her to come back.
And how do they know they were stolen?
Usually if something else happens, we do find them later. We are going to try microchipping our cats next year and hoping that that's going to help, but there are still a few downsides to that.
U of I Vet Med veterinarian Caroline Tanazi agrees. She showed us how chips are scanned. It tells you the animal's name and the name, address, and contact information of the person it's registered to. One problem? A lot of times that information is not updated. That's tough if the animal is found in bad shape.
Unless we have an owner attached to that animal, sometimes then that delays what that animal needs right in that moment.
Another problem, if the animal has a chip, but it ends up in an odd spot.
For example, I saw one that migrated into one of the down a leg, so people wouldn't necessarily know to scan down a leg.
And if an animal is stolen, whoever took it wouldn't make a chip check one of their stops.
It's tragic, but it, I think, happens.
Still, she says it's important to have one.
I think it's like a kind of a safety net to have in addition to other things like a collar.
We made our way to the Champaign Bark District and spoke with several dog owners. All of them said their canines were chipped. Cheryl Turner said it was a no-brainer.
I have basset hounds, which are scent hounds, to slip out a door and be gone. And they also have a hard time keeping collars on their necks because there's so much fat and flesh around their necks.
But everyone we spoke with there, and Dr. Tanazi says there is room for improvement in microchips.
If there was some way a microchip could also contain some sort of a GPS system, that would be really awesome.
Sort of like a Find My Phone and Find My Dog app. I'd probably something like that would be, I don't know if they could do it, but it'd be handy.
Medical call, Washington and Lerman. The alarms sound and they're off. It's the help firefighters give which makes them who they are, but when the heroes need saving.
I'll never forget it. The doctor called me on the phone and he said, your biopsy results are in and you have cancer.
It's a hard pill to swallow.
First thing I did was I rallied the family together, 3 boys and my wife, and it gave them the news.
Andy Dyna has fought fires for 30 years, but his fight against prostate cancer started at 46 years old.
Even today, I still feel like I can't believe this happened to me.
Now, as a survivor, he mentors other cancer-stricken firefighters by helping them cope with the diagnosis.
It's something that you didn't think about years ago.
Illinois Fire Service Institute researchers report firefighters have a 14% increased risk for all cancers compared to people in other jobs.
I mean, the materials that you would encounter in a burning building were primarily wood and cotton. Now they're plastics and synthetics.
Urbana Fire Chief Brian Neitlinger has battled fires more than 40 years, and over the course of time, the culture has changed.
Nobody wanted to wash their fire gear because it was the badge of honor. If you had the dirtiest fire gear or the corner of your helmet was melted, it made you a fire god.
For the last 20 years, research has developed showing firefighters are exposed to carcinogens out on the job. The skin is open to the dangers.
We're really starting to understand the chemistry of that soot. It's not just some black carbon or dirt that is left over on the firefighter's gear and skin after the firefight. There's some chemicals in there that are, in some cases, known carcinogens.
Because of that badge of honor of the dirty fire gear means you're the most experienced firefighter. It was difficult at times to get people to clean their gear.
That's no longer the case for the Urbana Fire Department. The department lost Chief Russell Rusty Chisholm to cancer in 2015.
It took one of our brothers, somebody we cared about, and we think about his family, the effect it's had on his family. I mean, it's a big deal.
Neitlinger worked with Chisholm for years and calls him his brother, and the two created new safety measures the department still uses today. The Urbana firefighters have spare gear. That gear is maintained and cleaned before heading out to back-to-back emergencies. They also encourage firefighters to wipe down after a fire.
We cannot avoid all the smoke, all the soot 100% of the time. It's part of the job.
Through different cleaning methods, their exposure and risk of cancer is reduced. Regardless, there's some still willing to risk their lives for others.
Firefighters are going to do what firefighters do. They go out and they go in harm's way to save people's lives.